Hi there and welcome to our discussion of the VRC section of Mock 18, which maybe you know as All India Open Mock 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into the VRC section and see what all we can learn, and those learnings are going to inform our strategy moving forward. So here is our first particular passage of the section, and I think there are two keywords that we are supposed to be aware of if we want to get this passage right. One word obviously is a utopia. So utopia is an imaginary, ideal, perfect society in which everyone is happy and they work very well with one another and live in peace and harmony. Now the other word that you'd find on the next slide is dystopia, which is the opposite. Dystopia is a very bad and unfair society where there is a lot of suffering, there is a lot of misery. So if you know these two key terms, I think it will become very easy for you to understand the passage. So the very first paragraph introduces the concept of utopia and says that our idea, our concept is informed by this book written by Thomas More way back in 1516, and then it brings it to the present time and says that okay, in the realm of fiction it is found only in science fiction nowadays, and then the key issues that the contemporary thinkers think over when it comes to utopia. Then what exactly is a utopia? A socialist response, and then you talking about a bit of Christianity thanks to Thomas More, and thereafter we are saying that okay, for More it was more of an imagination, but then there have been attempts to create actual utopian societies, and here is an example of one of those. And finally we have these last two paragraphs that, particularly the second last, talk about how do we deal with the absence of utopia. Okay, and then there are questions. So first one, the author of this passage is least likely to support the view that. So basically, what is it that the author will support? Anything that is true according to the passage. And what is it that the author is least likely to support? Anything which is not true according to the passage. So let's dive in. Let us go ahead, let us check. So answer choice A. The outlook of modern day thinkers is cynical. So is this true according to the passage? Let me take you back by just a slide. Look at this. Modern day thinkers may suffer from what Antonio Gramsci called pessimism of the intellect, optimism of the will. So modern day thinkers are pessimistic, and people who are pessimistic think that hey, something bad is going to happen. And people who are cynical are also somewhat similar, where they believe that everybody else around them is selfish and they think of only their own benefit. So somebody who is cynical will move more towards a dystopian society and not towards a utopian society. So in that sense, I think we can say that cynical is a synonym of pessimism in that particular sense in the given context. So this is true. B, socialist and Christian utopias are symbiotic in nature. Well, the word that has been used in the passage was intertwined. Now, if two entities are symbiotic in nature, then it means that both of them derive some benefit from the other. Okay, so both of them live together, where both of them get some value from the other and also provide some value to the other. So all it says is that conceptually they are intertwined. That does not mean that both of them exist together and are feeding off each other and benefiting each other. No, that will be too literal an interpretation. So B is not true. C, utopia envisages a society where the state owns all property. True. I think this is something that you can look at from the very first paragraph itself. And D, utopian societies were thought of much before modern day socialism. Yup. If you go to the second paragraph, the place where it begins at talks about this particular idea. Let me read it out for you, since going back to the second paragraph will be rather slow. So we say utopia is often thought to have been a socialist response before the advent of socialism, to the difficulties of the age in which More lived. Right? So it's definitely something that is true on the basis of the second paragraph. So since A, C and D are true, the author is obviously going to support those. B is not true, so the author is not going to support it, and therefore when the question says least likely to support, we should have zero hesitation in choosing option B. Okay, and here is the next question for you. According to the passage, socialism and Christian utopias. Okay, let us see. They are not practically feasible since socialism and religion have been considerably weakened. Now you notice this is something that has not been mentioned anywhere in the passage. So this is something that is out of scope, an alien answer choice, an answer choice that brings in something new altogether, so you can eliminate it. B says they are both accommodating and assimilative in nature. Let me take you to the relevant part. Okay, this is the paragraph, particularly this, that talks about their qualities. So you notice any contemporary utopian vision might also draw on a Christian belief in a world to come and a socialist vision of a land of plenty shared by all. So in a world to come fills you with hope, and a socialist vision of a land of plenty shared by all. Okay, so can we say that the answer choice or the relevant part tells us that they are accommodating and assimilative? I mean, accommodate what? Accommodate is adjusting, but there is no such thing mentioned there. And assimilate what? I mean, assimilation basically refers to the process of becoming a part of a group or a country, etc. Or at times it can also refer to making someone become a part of a group or a country. So these are not even mentioned there, and therefore it can be ruled out. Okay, C. They are essentially very similar in their suppositions. Yes, that is something that we can infer from the paragraph that we've just referred to. See this? So both of them have these common traits. And then D, they exist in contemporary society only in the realm of science fiction. No, I'll just read out the second paragraph. The second paragraph says that in the realm of fiction, it is confined to science fiction. It was not about in contemporary society, it is confined just to science fiction. Okay, and moreover, I can say that it does not really offer any point of comparison between the two as well, and thus D can also be ruled out, leading to C as being the undisputed answer for us. Here is the next question for you. The writer argues that utopian societies are not possible because, let me take you to the relevant part. So the key issue for much contemporary thinking about utopia is the failure of socialism and the survival of capitalism in its various forms. And this, we live in post-utopian times, so utopia is gone. So that's where it comes from. So we are looking for an answer choice that captures this idea, the failure of socialism and the survival of capitalism in its various forms. And that idea is captured only in option B. So success and popularity of market economics, that's capitalism. Setbacks of socialism is another way of saying failure of socialism, right? So from that context, B is the only answer choice that can be chosen, and thus the correct answer for third should be option B. And here is fourth. Following from the passage, which one of the following may be best seen as a characteristic of a utopian society? So let me take you back to the relevant part first. Here it is. Without private property or a propertied class, population would enjoy the benefits of a welfare state. So two characteristics. No property and welfare state. So let's check A. A says abolishing rights to property for wealthy individuals, whereas we want to abolish it for all. As in, when I say we, I'm saying the passage. Okay, so A can be ruled out. Okay, B, a perfectly meritocratic society. So state owns all property is right, but a perfectly meritocratic society is not given. So that is out of scope. C, a perfectly equal society in which all citizens have equal incomes. Where is this and this mentioned in the passage? Nowhere. So even C can be eliminated. D, a society where the state takes care of its citizens. Welfare state. Yes. And there is no ownership of property. Yes. Both of these are true going by this particular reference of the passage, and therefore our answer to question number 4 should be option D. So that's our passage number 1.